I won't lie, one of my favorite things about the Super Mario Bros. Franchise are its enemies, which add a whole nother dimension to your experience, as not only do they act as something to platform around, but also, most often than not, can be used to your advantage to do something different than usual. In continuation of my Glitches miniseries, today I want to look at the strange ones that you can do with Mario's foes that hopefully you've never seen before, and also ones that you can try at home. Oh yeah, and before we get started here, my name is Copycat, and if you haven't yet, then please subscribe to my channel, hitting that bell to stay notified when I upload new videos. The very first game to come out in the mainline series is Super Mario Bros. For the Nintendo Entertainment System, having one very interesting glitch that involves something very strange happening to a bullet bill. This can all occur in World 6-3, where if you stand on the specific platform and bonk off every bill that's shot by you, then one of them will be messed up and think for some reason that it's on a scale lift wire. Mario will remain bonking off this foe, either until time runs out, or if it falls off the wire. Either way, it's weird, and doesn't take much of a setup for it to happen. The second of the original trilogy to come out in Western markets is Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES, having one pretty crazy enemy glitch involving a jar and a mushroom block. This takes place in World 5-3 down the level's first ladder, needing to take the mushroom block off of the jar, then place it exactly 2 blocks to its left. This will cause the bob-ombs to get stuck within the small space, and eventually explode, destroying the jar. Next, needing to grab the block and place it where the jar just was. You know you did it right if you run away from the jar and then go back, where for some reason the jar will be replaced with the block and it will operate as if nothing happened, spawning bob-ombs from it, which just doesn't make sense. The final of the original NES trilogy is Super Mario Bros. 3 that came out in North America in 1990, having a handful of enemy-based glitches we need to look at, starting with 2 very different ways to gain an infinite amount of lives. The first can be done in the first fortress of World 2, where you can find 3 dry bones pretty close together, where you can actually jump between them, juggling Mario in mid-air. This allows you to rack up a huge combo, and therefore a ton of 1-ups. Although it can be kind of hard as you have to ensure that the foes line up properly so that you can jump between them. But I found it easiest to sort of trap one in the middle, so they couldn't walk off screen and respawn somewhere else. The other is one that can be formed in World 3-4, needing a Koopa shell, Spinies thrown by a Lakitu, and this small contained area where the shell can travel back and forth. To start, you have to have the Lakitu spawn in, then run backwards in the stage towards this group of Koopas, so you can pick one of their shells up as you have to use it. Next, stand just under this pipe within the 2 wooden blocks and throw your shell, where if done right, the shell will continuously move back and forth, killing any Spinies that are thrown out, which will allow you to collect a huge combo with Mario just sort of standing there. The last from this title I want to look at is the way to die from an invisible muncher that can only happen in the second Piranha Plant level of World 7. Really, all you have to do is be powered up with something that allows you to fly, then just do that near the end of the stage, trying to get to the top right corner of the screen, landing on the pipe that's just barely sticking out. Here you'll begin to take damage seemingly out of nowhere, resulting in you dying if you stay too long. So thankfully it is out of the way, so it's not like you're gonna come across this naturally. The first handheld entry to be released in the series is Super Mario Land for the Game Boy, having only one small enemy/audio glitch that I could find, which can be done in the first level of the Muda Kingdom. All you have to do is be in small Mario form and collect this power-up about halfway through the stage, where you then need to immediately launch yourself into the water, ensuring you get hit by a Honen in the process. If you did it right, you'll die and you'll hear this weird noise. Next to be released is Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, having a couple of strange glitches that I want to showcase, starting with one where you can eat a Wiggler with Yoshi, but still take damage. As you can see, if you're traveling at top speed with your Dino Buddy, then try to eat up the caterpillar-like foe, you'll oddly take damage, eating it still, but also remaining on Yoshi. This really doesn't make that much sense, as usually if you take damage on Yoshi, you just get knocked off of his back and not get depowered. Although obviously something wacky is going on here, probably due to the length of the Wiggler, and it's still touching you while you eat it, but who knows? The second glitch is also really easy to pull off, and involves a way to ensure that the Lakitu's cloud remains rideable for pretty much as long as you like. Done by simply just using a fireball to remove it from the cloud, then getting into the cloud yourself. For some reason this only works using this specific power-up, as if you use something like the Cape Feather, the cloud won't stay on the stage for as long, which is definitely weird and I don't know why it happens, but it at least can be very useful. The follow-up to Super Mario Land, here titled The 6 Golden Coins, also came out for the Game Boy, but this time in 1992, having two glitches we're going to look at, starting with a method to overload your level and cause things to get extremely laggy. This can be done with any enemy who remains stationary, yet throws/launches a projectile at you, needing to come across one to trigger its action, then slightly move it off screen so it's still attacking you, but you can't see it. If you wait around in this spot for about a minute, then try to proceed forward, things will get really screwy, with you only being able to move super slowly, sometimes hitting an invisible wall, and in some cases, getting hit by invisible things that aren't even there on screen. After a bit, this does go back to normal, but obviously this has something to do with the game messing up with the enemy's projectiles, as he's throwing many of them on screen, causing things to get super overloaded and start glitching out. The other you can do is a visual one, where you can get the toadies stuck in the platforms of the first tree zone stage, done by guiding these three into this tight area and waiting for just a little bit. After a while, you'll at least get one of them stuck, which will begin to really wig out, gyrating back and forth, which really is just a hilarious sight. Next, we're going to look at an amazing glitch from Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, where you can bring one of the enemy's effects randomly into the overworld screen. This is the Fuzzies of World 1-7, where when you come in contact with this baddie, it turns your screen super blurry, inhibiting your ability to know what you're doing, which is annoying. Now, if you begin to touch this foe, then press start and select to exit the level with perfect timing, then you can see that the fuzziness can be carried over to the overworld, with you unable to really see what you're selecting, although this does go away if you enter a stage, then complete it or just exit it again. The very first game of the franchise that would be based in the 3D realm is Super Mario 64 for the N64, having two glitches that involve interacting with enemies while riding on the back of a Koopa shell, starting with the one that can occur in the tiny section of the Tiny Huge Island stage. This can be a bit tricky to pull off, as you have to get eaten by the Bubba while riding the shell, something that can be tough as you're traveling on it rather erratically, and a lot of the time the fish just misses more often than not. If you do it right, then as you get eaten, you'll see that the shell is suspended on the surface of the water, just sort of chilling there, which is kind of random, but I guess where else would it go? The second is a blink and you'll miss it glitch that can occur in the Lethal Lava Land course, where if you circle and kill and miss your eyes, then leave the area as quickly as possible, its iris can follow you from across the stage. This, however, happens so quickly that you really have to slow the footage down to even see the eye reach you. So this probably has happened to you by accident if you're an explorer like I am, but you didn't notice. Up next is a game also based within the 3D realm, in Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube, containing 3 enemy-based glitches that are all very easy to pull off, beginning with being able to be unedible by the Cheep Cheeps of Gelato Beach. All you have to do is be carrying a fruit, then swim up to these fish-like foes, and you'll see that they clearly don't like what you have, as they become disinterested and sort of just leave you be / don't eat you at all. The next one also takes place within Gelato Beach, but you need Yoshi, so you have to enter in the 6th episode as he's guaranteed to spawn there, with your first step being collecting your dino buddy, then spraying away this goop where the sandy shine sprite is located. Next, stand near the edge where the structure is going to spawn in, then trigger the Dune Bud by spraying it, with you also then needing to quickly ground pound essentially at the same time, which, if done correctly, will send you and your dino buddy hurtling upwards through the air. Mario will still be ground pounding in this state, which will cause the camera to get confused and not realize that you're already landed on the ground, resulting in this. The final is one of my favorites in a way to be able to swim under the lava of Corona Mountain, done by just simply getting hit by a lava cheep, which hurts you, knocking you over, but also puts you out of bounds. Unfortunately here you can run out of air, so it's not as useful as a glitch as I first hoped, but you still can explore a bit in this weird state. Nintendo would eventually return the series to its 2D roots in New Super Mario Bros. For the dual screen system. Only being able to find one enemy glitch I think's worth looking at, in something strange that can happen with the dry bones when it's on a moving platform. This can be most easily showcased in the World 1 Tower stage, where if you bonk off this dry bones and have its head roll off the moving platform to the stationary one, then it will actually be able to maneuver in a way it's not supposed to. Next up is the space-based Super Mario Galaxy Wii title that came out for the system in 2007, having one trippy visual glitch that can occur in the Freeze Flame Galaxy, involving using a fireball and a little cinder. This is specifically in the Blistering Core mission, very close to where the star is found, needing to power up and use your fireball to knock the little cinder into the lava hazard. Next, shoot exactly where the enemy fell within the lava, and if you did it right, then fire will begin to spew out of seemingly nowhere, creating a cool visual bug. This changes depending on where you are in the area, with the results being insane no matter where you pull this off. The second installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series came out for the Wii in 2009, having a couple glitches that involve using the spiny in some way, starting with being able to get a few stuck within the walls of World 2-5. To do this, you have to start off by getting your dino buddy Yoshi, then eating up a spiny, where next you need to go on the quicksand near the edge near a wall, sink a bit, then spit out the spiny while you're facing that solid wall. You know you pulled it off if the spiny literally gets stuck, creating this awful sound that makes me want to just plug my ears. The other is one that's done in World 6-2. Being able to have a spiny walk upside down in midair if you do something specific. This is all by shooting this one with an ice flower, then removing the blocks above it via ground pound, which will cause the foe to be suspended upside down. It will eventually slowly make its way upwards until it reaches the ceiling where it essentially returns to normal, although it is now confined to a small area, but at least it's walking. The second space-based Super Mario Galaxy entry also came out for the Wii, but here in 2010, where there's one glitch where you can cause the giant piranha plant of the supermassive galaxy to despawn and create an almost psychedelic experience. To start, you need to go to the level's checkpoint, then purposely lose a life by jumping off the platform to your death. Next, when you immediately return to the level, long jump backwards to the giant coin, and proceed normally towards where the giant pipes are. If you did it right, the piranha plant will disappear and this will happen instead, as well as you hearing this very annoying noise. Nintendo would perfectly blend aspects of the series' 2D and 3D realms with the release of Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS, containing two enemy-based glitches I want to show off for y'all, with the first being one of my favorites, in the one where the Prongo and Wallop can merge into one being. To pull this off, you need to be in World 6-4 and lure the Prongo towards where the Wallop's stationed, standing in front of the Wallop with the Prongo attacking you from behind. If you're in the right spot, then the Prongo will attack, and when you dodge it, it will miss and instead get attached to the Wallop, which is a fun visual I absolutely love. The other is a glitch that can be performed in Special World 4-1, where if you stand on the closest edge of the elevator platform, then enemies won't spawn in properly. As you can see normally, waves of foes appear if you ride the vertical/horizontal elevator. However, doing this obviously means you aren't hitting a certain trigger, so for a bit, nothing sorta happens, which is underwhelming. The third installment of the new Super Mario Bros. Sub-series, oddly given the moniker of being the second, came out for the 3DS in 2012, having two glitches I feel like I should mention, beginning with the way that enemies can get easily stuck within certain blocks. This can be done within World Star 1, where you can uncover a P-switch at the level's start that turns all of the bricks into coins. All of the enemies at the beginning then drop down, and when the switch's time is up, any foe walking within the coins now become trapped, still stopping to dance to the songs, which is kind of funny. The other glitch also involves a P-switch, but here causing it to seemingly float in midair. done only in the stages that have 1+ bob-ombs that spawn in. All you have to do is bring a bob-omb to the exposed switch and blow up the blocks surrounding it, which will cause it to literally be suspended but still function as normal. Skipping forward now to Super Mario 3D World, as I couldn't find a good one to showcase from New Super Mario Bros. U, there's one glitch that messes up the map poles, which causes them to pretty much teleport. This can only be done in the World Bowser 5 stage called Deep Water Dungeon, where right at its beginning you come across the map poles that are swimming in the water that raises and lowers. If you hold the enemy there using your right bumper's interactive cursor ability, then release it when the water lowers or raises and it's not at the same level, when you let go of it, it will teleport instantly to where the water's level is, no matter, again, if it's below or above. I'm not sure why exactly this happens, but when I see it over and over, it just looks unreal every time. The final game we're going to look at in this video, as the others don't have any significant enemy glitches, is the absolutely massive Super Mario Odyssey Switch entry, where firstly, I want to look at one that causes the lava bubble to act erratically in the Luncheon Kingdom. First, you have to be in assist mode, and then capture this Podobo, and land on the small peg so you can use Cappy to uncover all of these hidden blocks. Next, recapture the lava bubble, place it just to the right edge of the blocks, and release it, causing Mario to bubble, where more often than not, you'll see that the foe will start to move crazy, going up and down super fast, and even sometimes moving to the right. Not sure why this happens, but it's very easy to set up, and still works to this day in 2024. The other is a bit harder to pull off, but in the end, will result in you being able to get out of bounds using a Cheep Cheep in the Lake Kingdom. First, you need to be in 2-player mode as you need Cappy's help. Next, having to capture a Cheep Cheep and bring it all the way to the start of the course, ensuring that it doesn't despawn from being out of water for too long. Next, position the Cheep in a downward swimming position under this platform, and then use Cappy to go above it and ground pound downwards, where after a bit, you'll get forced through to an out-of-bounds spot you're not supposed to be in. Here, you can explore a pretty vast area, albeit with not much going on there, but it's still a shocking sight. Alright, that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you did enjoy this one. I'd love to know your suggestions in the comments below for future videos that you want to see. And of course, if you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, hit that bell, and if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can at Copycat Gamer, where there I'll upload some cool clips and items for a collection that you won't see anywhere else. Hope you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!